Every management book, every leadership course, and every LinkedIn guru will tell you the same thing. Regular one-on-ones are essential. They are the cornerstone of good management, the foundation of trust, the secret to employee engagement. And yet, if you're honest, I mean really honest, how many of your one-on-ones feel like a box-ticking exercise? How many times have you sat there scrolling through your agenda template, asking questions that feel forced, getting answers that sound rehearsed, and leaving the meeting wondering what you actually accomplished? My name is Marcel. I'm a chartered manager and I've probably conducted hundreds of one-on-ones over the last 2 decades. Some of them have been genuinely transformative. Many of them have been forgettable, and more than I'd like to admit have felt like a mutual hostage situation where neither of us really wanted to be there. So let's talk about why this happens and what we can actually do about this. Here's what the advice typically sounds like. Schedule recurring one-on-ones. 30 minutes, weekly or bi-weekly, come prepared with an agenda, ask open-ended questions. Listen actively, take notes, follow up. And none of that is wrong exactly. But it's also incomplete because it assumes a world where trust already exists, where people feel safe being honest, where power dynamics don't interfere with conversations, and where both parties have something meaningful to discuss every single week. And in reality, those conditions are rare. What you get instead are meetings that drift into status updates because those feel safe. Small talk that eats up 10 minutes because nobody wants to address the elephant in the room. Worse, complete silence after you ask, "So how are you doing?" Followed by, "Fine, yeah, all right." The advice treats one-on-one as a format problem when it's actually a trust problem, a clarity problem, and often a purpose problem. So let's break down where it goes wrong. First, the power dynamic is inescapable. No matter how approachable you are, no matter how flat your org chart claims to be, you are still the person who writes the performance review. You still control their assignments, their opportunities, and to a certain degree, their trajectory. When advice tells you to create psychological safety and encourage openness, it's not acknowledging that safety isn't something you can just declare into existence. It has to be earned slowly through consistency and follow-throughs, and it can evaporate instantly with one careless comment or broken promise. So when your team member sits across from you saying everything is fine, they might actually mean it. Or they might be doing a very rational risk assessment in real time to decide whether raising concern is worth the potential consequence. You can't fix that with better questions. You can only chip away at it with behavior over time. Many one-on-ones lack a clear purpose. The advice says these meetings are for them, not for you. But what does it actually mean? Is it coaching? Is it feedback? Is it career development? Is it problem solving? Or is it just connection? If you don't know, they definitely don't know. And if the purpose shifts from every week depending on your mood or workload, well, the meeting becomes unpredictable and people disengage from unpredictable things. Now, I've fallen into this trap more times than I can count. Some weeks I'd show up wanting to talk strategy. Other weeks I'd focus on their well-being. Other weeks I just needed a status update and tried to dress it up as something more meaningful. Now, that inconsistency trains people to come prepared for nothing specific, which means they come prepared for nothing at all. Third, forced frequency doesn't match real needs. Weekly one-on-ones sound disciplined, but they assume that meaningful conversations happen on a calendar schedule, and they don't. Sometimes you need 3 conversations in 1 week because something big is happening, and sometimes nothing important comes up for a month. Forcing a weekly cadence when there's nothing to discuss creates filler. And filler is exactly that thing that makes these meetings feel pointless. You end up asking surface level questions just to fill the time, and your team member gives surface level answers just to survive it. The advice assumes that regularity creates value, but in reality, regularity without substance creates theatre. So if the standard advice misses the mark, what works? Let me share what I've learned, not from books, but from the trial and error in actual management roles. Number 1, be honest about the purpose and let it vary. Stop pretending every one-on-one is the same kind of meeting. Some are check-ins, some are problem-solving sessions, some are career conversations, some are just human connection. What I've started doing is being explicit at the beginning. Today, I want to focus on X. Does that work for you, or is there something more urgent? And the more in advance you can ask that question, the better. If someone has a couple of days to get ready mentally, it only works to everyone's advantage. That clarity reduces anxiety. People know what kind of conversation they're walking into, and they can prepare appropriately. And if they need something different, they have permission to say so. Number 2, adjust frequency based on actual needs, not guilt. Now, I used to feel guilty if I went more than a week without a one-on-one. But then I realized some of my team members preferred less frequent, longer conversations. Others needed more frequent, shorter check-ins. A few just wanted to know if I was available if something came up. So now I ask, how often do you actually find these useful? And then I adjust. For some people, that's weekly. For others, it's every 2 or 3 weeks. For a few senior folks who are genuinely autonomous, it's monthly unless something specific comes up. This isn't about reducing effort. It's about matching structure to reality. Number 3, replace templates with genuine curiosity. Now, this is a very powerful one. I used to bring a list of questions to every one-on-one. What's going well? What's challenging? What support do you need? It felt professional, but it also felt robotic. What works better is just paying attention during the week and then bringing that into the conversation. Things like, I noticed you seem frustrated in that meeting on Tuesday. What happened? Or, you mentioned you were interested in project X last month. How's that going? Now, that specificity signals that you're actually paying attention, not just performing the ritual of one-on-one. After all those years, I now have a quarterly one-on-ones with deep discussion of goals, and otherwise, I just make sure I catch up with everyone at least once a week. But this goes outside of the one-on-one banner. Number 4, sometimes cancel them. This might be the most controversial thing I'll say here, but there it is. If there's genuinely nothing pressing to discuss, it's okay to say, do we need the full 30 minutes today, or should we just catch up briefly? I've had team members visibly relax when I give them that option, not because they don't value the time, but because they also have real work to do, and a forced conversation doesn't help anyone. The point is connection and support, not compliance with a calendar invite. Number 5, build trust outside the one-on-one. Now, this is the big one. If the only time you have a real conversation with someone is during their scheduled one-on-one, those meetings will always feel performative. Because trust is built in the small moments. The quick Slack message asking how their weekend was, the casual hallway conversation, the fact that you remember they were worried about something last week and you check in without being prompted. When those small moments accumulate, the one-on-one stops being the only place where honest conversation can happen. It becomes just one of many touch points, which takes the pressure off everyone. Here's what nobody tells you. Sometimes one-on-one feels like a waste of time because the relationship genuinely isn't working. Maybe there's a mismatch in expectations. Perhaps trust was broken somewhere along the way and hasn't been repaired. Maybe the person just doesn't want to engage deeply with the manager, and that's the right. You can't fix every relationship with better meeting structure. Sometimes the best you can do is be professionally consistent. Provide clear feedback and accept that not every working relationship will be warm. And that's not a failure, that's just reality. Okay, let's step back. One-on-ones aren't bad. The advice about them isn't wrong, but the advice is definitely incomplete. It tells you what to do without acknowledging the context in which you're doing it. It assumes trust, clarity, and psychological safety without explaining how to build those things first. If your one-on-ones feel like a waste of time, it's probably not because you're doing them wrong. It's because the former alone can't solve the deeper issues at play here. What works better is this. Be clear about the purpose. Adjust frequency to reality. Show up with genuine curiosity rather than a script. Build trust in small moments, not just the scheduled ones. And when there's nothing to discuss, be honest about that too. That's what makes one-on-ones useful. Not the fact that they happen, but the quality of the relationship that makes them possible in the first place. If you struggled with this, you're not alone. Drop a comment about what makes your one-on-ones feel forced or what actually worked for you. Let's figure this out together, and I'll see you in the next one.